Okay, so welcome to another Feature Fridays, and today I'm joined by Amif. So Amif, please introduce yourself for everyone.
Hi, Guy. Thanks for having me on the show. I am Amit Vijayanand. I am an Associate Marketing Manager with the PMM at VMware, and I've been associated with VMware for closely 4 years now.
Yeah, and you are the man who creates the calculators and the business opportunity analysis and everything else, right? So you're the metrics guy.
Yeah, so they say.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on today. My name, for people
Thank
who
you.
don't know me, is Guy Bartram. I'm Product Marketing Director for Cloud Director suite of products. And the reason why we're here on today, Amif, is because we're going to run through your latest creation, which is the Cloud Director Service calculator, right?
Yeah.
So, so this has been work in progress for probably about, I don't know, 3, 4 months now in terms of getting the Excel file into the HTML file, and now it's finally released, so we're able to share it with all our
Yes.
partners. Excellent.
Yes.
So this is it's quite an interesting one, right? Because Cloud Director Service is that I often call it like the spawn of Cloud Director. It is Cloud Director's child.
So,
It is exactly the same code base as Cloud Director, but it's running
mhm.
in and orchestrating VMware Cloud on AWS. So
Yeah.
you and I have worked together a lot on this. The kind of challenges that service providers were having was really understanding what was the business opportunity for them with Cloud Direct Service, especially when you look at running it in my infrastructure, is costing me, X amount. If I run it in VMC on AWS, it costs me a different amount, maybe more, maybe less. And now I've got
Mhm.
this extra cost as well, which is Cloud Direct Service. What does it offer me? How does it enable me to kind of make margin and stuff like that? And what are some of the kind of in your mind, what are some of the key kind of differentiators around this particular kind of view on Cloud Director?
Yes. So, Cloud Director, it really offers the flexibility for the providers to, offer various types of services as infrastructure as a service and so on, and it gives them a good platform to layer the differentiator services on the VMC on AWS. So every solution or service offering, it has its own cost implication
Mhm.
or the economic implication, as we say. So that is where the Cloud Director service tool that we built would address, and that would actually tell them that, look, this is what your cost is, this is where your price point is, this is how much you're gonna pay for offering this service, or you can manage however you would like to. So that is where the Cloud Director Service Calc tool comes in.
Okay, cool. And Cloud Director Service is all about orchestrating multi-tenancy on VMware Cloud on AWS. So previous to Cloud Director Service, you could only buy an SDDC, and it's pretty much one SDDC to one customer. That was the mapping, right? Now you've got multi-tenancy, but you've also
So,
got the I'm going to call it complexity because it is, to get your head around it, is quite complex, but the allocation models, right? What does Cloud Director bring to that environment?
yes. So as you know, we have four types of allocation models. So we have a dedicated resource pool. So that's the allocation pool allocation, and then we have the resource pool allocation, where a set amount of guaranteed vCenter resources are reserved for workloads. And then there's the pay as you go, where there's where it's just pay as you go, and there's no reservation there,
Unlimited. Hmm.
unlimited exactly. And throughout, you can, uh, and with all these allocation models, there is flex. So you can you can turn on the elasticity and not, and that actually determines the scaling of the resources as needed.
Yeah, so this is, I think, one of the key kind of differentiators for Cloud Director Service is suddenly you're able to provide this level of subscription and oversubscription on the VMware stack, the VMware Cloud and AWS stack, which as a service provider is great because now I've gone from like one SDDC, one customer to one SDDC, 20, 30, 50 customers, whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee their service with the flexible kind of, I'm going to call it the scheduling, the underneath scheduling engine that takes care of all of the allocation and reservation. So, I might be selling you a VM with 32 gig or a resource pool of 128 gig, but I'm only going to guarantee you like 16 gig or 64 gig. The rest is all going to get shared amongst everyone
Okay.
else,
That's
and you'll
correct.
get it. You'll
Yeah.
get it when you need it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the whole
Yeah.
idea of the scheduling engine.
Yeah.
So that's key. So I guess the premise for this calculator when we first started was, let's prove the business case with just the infrastructure. Let's not think about
Correct.
additional services. If we can prove the business case with just infrastructure, then we're laughing because the rest of it is just going to make profit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that said,
Yes.
we worked through a lot. So let me just share my screen here,
Sure.
and let me know when you see it.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to just kind of take everyone through like, how to get to the calculator. And obviously the easiest way is to come to our cloudsolutions.vmware.com and then go to the resources tab, and here you'll see business opportunity calculators.
Yeah.
Now, this takes you to cspcalculator.vmware.com, which is then going to prompt you for some authentication. Now, if you're a partner, you can use, is it your Partner Connect account here?
Yeah. It's the My VMware account.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I see
Yeah.
that. I see that. Sorry, I should have read the instructions. But also, what's new now is this single sign-in for our VMware employees, right?
Employees as well. That's correct.
So let me click on this. It should log me in. Okay, so you're logged in and you're presented with these different tiles. So what's behind each one of these tiles, MF?
So we already have four solutions or four calculators, as we could say. So we have the cloud to cloud DR. So the first two are the disaster recovery as a service. So these two are for, yes, that and the one. Yes. So that's for the cloud director availability. One is for the cloud to cloud DR and the other for the on-prem to cloud. And
Okay.
then we have the flex core services opportunity. So this is something which we designed to show the value of coming into flex from the bundles that we had previously. And now, yeah.
Sorry, this is also quite useful. I mean, this looks at the Flex Core and what services you can deliver with the Flex Core with the
Flex core.
products we're
That's
using.
correct.
And so it's actually quite useful for new providers if they're looking to understand what Flex could bring them out of the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
then
now
we have the cloud.
the new one here.
This is that.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's dive into this then. So do you want to, I'll drive us if you just want to walk us through kind of the UI views here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we looking at here? Let's have shall I collapse all the sections first so we can just work
Yes.
through one by one? All right.
Yeah. So it's a simple to start with calculator. So we just have on the left side of the screen we have just the two tabs to work on. So one is the input tab and the other is the summary tab. So we just have this tab, that is the input tab, to work on. So summary is just the presentation of the analysis. So
Okay.
we categorize these inputs in four categories. So one is the estate estimations.
Hmm.
So here we survey the tenant topography and the estate topography.
Okay.
So
Come back
here,
to that.
as you can, yeah, and then the next is the VMC on AWS license inputs. So this is something which we survey to determine the license cost and what would this basically predicts the license cost for the offering that is planned or that already is running.
Hmm.
And then we have the cloud director service license inputs. again, so this again, we survey the type of contract, the service level, and also the subscription type.
Okay.
And next is the service estimations. So this is the part where the tool prompts the users to utilize the capabilities of CDS. So we have the planned offering type to begin with. So we have VMs and resource units. So this gives the opportunity for the service providers to sell resources, sell the unit resources of compute, memory, and storage, or they can sell the VM as a whole.
Okay, so they could sell a
So
resource pool, in other words.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we have the allocation models just below. So these are the 3 allocation models, the gold, silver, and bronze. So the gold here is for generally stable workloads and critical workloads, which require an upfront resource reservation.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we have further classified workload types as small, medium, and large. So this is something which we have classified throughout the tiers. That is, we have small, medium, and large in gold tier, as well as the silver and the bronze.
Right. But these are only kind of tags, right? So if I look at the gold tier
Yes,
here, I'm actually able to change all of the oversubscriptions for this
that's
tier,
correct.
and then I'm also able to change the volume of VMs in that tier as well. So I guess,
That's correct.
yeah, the big thing here is that, the margin and the oversubscription. But if you wanted to, you could just have all the rest as blank and just have one kind of
One
service
tier.
offering. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so let's work for an example then. Let's start plugging some numbers in and see what we get.
Sure.
So let's take a new service provider who's got, let's say 15 tenants. Looking at time frame here is flexible, 1, 2, 3 years.
Sweet.
Average VMs per tenant, say 30. Small estates. So it's going to calculate I need 400, or we'll have 450 VMs.
50.
Now here I've got a choice to kind of put in what is the average VMs I would run on a host. Now, given there's different types of hosts you can have in VMC on AWS,
Mm-hmm.
we typically see a number between 30 to 40 VMs, but that varies on the workload types, right?
Yeah,
And this is important to come back to later on, isn't it?
that's correct. So the consolidation ratio, so this is where the host selection happens for the VMC on AWS a bit, which we come to in a while.
Yeah, okay. So what we're doing here is we're just putting in a preliminary number that the calculator is going to use to calculate the number of hosts required. But we are going to then, when you look at the number of hosts required, you'll see the oversubscription you're going to have, and you've got then the option to come here and change the average
Unit.
VMs per
Yeah.
host. Yeah, all right. The SDDC, whether you want a regular or a large one, let's go for a regular. Time to onboard
And the
tenants. Mm-hmm.
the SDDC type. So this has the implication on the overhead. So there is the management overhead, which is just listed below. So the
Yeah,
management
see
and
this.
additional overhead. So we can see the compute and memory overhead as we change the SDDC type.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this management overhead, this is basically space that is reserved for the SDDC management component. So it's not
That's right.
usable space for you as a provider
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sell. Okay. So this is nice because I've actually given here a time to on-ramp or onboard all tenants, which is really cool because that obviously affects, my incoming revenue stream.
Yeah.
So 15
And
tenants.
also the cost.
Yeah, let's be optimistic. Let's say we can do it all in 6 months. And this then works out that I'm going to be completing this and doing this within 6 months, but I'm going to be doing 3 tenants per month on average.
Yeah.
time effort required for IT support. This is a per VM number, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and it per VM per month?
Yes, that is per VM per month, and that's in hours.
Okay, so let's make it nice and low. Labor rate, $75. And this is going to work out. So what's this OPEX number here? This is the monthly estimated OPEX cost to run that entire
That's correct.
estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's this one here about?
Yeah.
Value
So
add.
this is the revenue per VM for the uh, additional services apart from the infrastructure that the service provider layers upon.
Okay.
So that's given as an input because it's very subjective and it's just too open. So that's
Yeah.
why we've given it as an input.
Okay. So I'm going to leave that as 0 at the moment because I want to see what the base cost looks like before I start layering on managed services. Okay. So then I've got this management and additional overhead section. We've talked about the SDDC management. What's this additional tooling overhead here?
Yes. So this is given for the service providers if they are running any of the tools or if they would want uh, any of the resource to be reserved or the overhead on the resource for layering their differential services.
Okay.
So that's why we've just made an option here. This can be left as 0 or can be given as need be.
So let's say I was going to deploy, I don't know, something from the marketplace, a monitoring solution, perhaps New Relic or something like that, and I was going to deploy this into the SDDC to manage the tenant's monitoring service. I could come here and say it's going to take 2% of the overall kind of compute memory per host, say 3%, average storage 5%. Okay,
Yeah,
that'll be calculated into the end overall results. Yeah.
that's correct. And these numbers also affect uh, the resource that is available to offer.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's effectively taken out this resource pool along with this management here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's the estate. So let's have a look at the license input. So I'm based in London, so let's go for London, and immediately you can see what is available. So this is quite nice for a service provider who's really confused about all of the pricing and what's available in what areas. You can come here and simply, select different areas. Select one which hasn't got, I think, is it Paris? Doesn't have the EN? No?
Yeah. So this is the other way. Uh, right. So
Oh,
they select the host type and the
if I select
region
EN,
automatically.
then, oh, I
Yeah,
see
and
that.
this
Okay.
gives only what's available.
Okay, cool. So London, we've got the enhanced processes available. So this bit here, so this is telling me first off that given my estate input, which I have here of 450 VMs and 30 VMs per host, yeah, that I need 15 hosts.
Yes,
Now, I could see
and
here, sorry, go on.
yeah, and that is why, and that is because that the field there where you wish to input the number of hosts manually is set to no,
Yeah.
and that is calculating with the consolidation ratio and the overheads that was input in the estate estimations.
So let's leave this as no for now, but we're going to go down
Yeah,
into the service and consolidation stuff, and we'll come back to this. So at the moment, it's saying 15.
yeah,
Right, so we got contracts here. I'm going to go for a rental contract. You see here the points and discount automatically change with the contract you choose. I'm going to go for a 3R, and I'm going to go for a 3-year contract. All right, that's my VMC on AWS stuff done. So I'm going to do the same for my Cloud Director service. Select a 3R, 15%, 3 years. And because Cloud Direct Service is per core license as well, right?
yes,
So you're
yes,
giving a cost per core.
correct.
It's just information only, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's have a look. So I want to offer VMs. I've got 450 of them. Let's just start this with, I'm going to run 100% in my silver. So I'm going to make 0 here.
Mhm.
And I immediately get the warning saying, hey,
Yes.
your silver, gold, and pay-as-you-go are not adding up to
So
100%. So,
100%.
okay, so let's go to here and we'll change this to 100. And then change the pay-as-you-go to 0. And that goes. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So I don't actually need to look in any of these now apart from the silver, right? Even though there's stuff in them, they're not going to be counted in the calculation.
that's correct.
Cool.
So uh, if it's only the plant percentage field, so that is the main driver of all these.
Yeah. So for silver, let's go for a kind of, so compute, right? First off, when we're looking at here, it's 1 physical core to 4 virtual cores with an oversubscription of 400%.
400.
If
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 100, that is 1 physical core to 1 virtual core. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go sort of a, I think probably an average 175. Memory 125 is probably okay.
Mhm.
Now, personally, I don't do anything less than 25% margin. So that's going to give me my build into the equation what I need to
Yes.
sell this as, right? So we're going to have, now I can split this 100% offering with those allocations of oversubscription. I can now split this up by silver, medium, and large. And I can, again, I've got my percentage.
Yeah.
So I'm more likely to have small VMs because these customers are quite small. Small is probably around 6 gig and 2 vCPU. 100 gigabyte storage should be plenty for small. And I can see here this is working out some stuff for me. So 50% would
Yeah.
be
That
255. Do you want to just talk me through this? Sorry.
yes. So the number of VMs. So the 50% of the total estate is 225 out of the 450 VMs. We have 225 VMs as small VMs,
Hmm.
and then with the oversubscription, we have the total vCPUs and the RAM calculated.
Hmm.
As you've also mentioned that you require a 25% margin on the cost. So what we have is the tool calculates the cost per VM as well as the sell price per VM. That's based on the margin on the VM cell.
Okay, that's at 20% now. Is that supposed to change
Yes.
that
So
margin?
this,
Oh, I
yes.
see.
So the margin there, what comes up next to the sell price per VM, yeah. So that is inclusive of only the resource cost. So as we have the OpEx cost as well,
Ah,
so
cool.
uh, we do not include that in the uh, resource cost per VM or the total
Okay.
cost per VM. So we only consider the resources costing.
Yeah, no problem. That makes sense. Okay. So that's my small. Then I've got sort of, sorry, 50% there. So that together that's 100. Um, so these guys, a medium workload, provide 16 gigs about right. 4 vCPU, 200, that sounds about right. So this now changes these numbers here.
Yeah. So we can also see the vCPU allocated versus the sold. So the total vCPU allocated is 309.
Mhm.
So that's the number of cores being used, but we are selling 540 vCPUs. Similarly with RAM.
That's because of these numbers up here.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now I'm at a sell price of almost $200 per VM. My margin stays the same. And then on this one, 20%, 32 gig, 8 vCPU, 300 gig storage. Again, same kind of layout here, and this is kind of topping out now at almost $400 per VM. It's quite a hefty VM though. Okay, and
Yeah.
this summary here,
So that's the total. Yeah. So that is the total tier volume. So we have 100% of the VMs in the gold tier, and we have all the VMs. We have 977 vCPUs allocated, where we are selling 1,710 vCPUs. And similarly with RAM, so we have 5,000 odd allocated gig of RAM, but we're selling about 6,300. So this is the summary of what the resource of the tier is.
Okay, great. So this is, when I look at this and you're looking at the allocated and sold, this is really where you make your money by kind of changing those allocation models, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this overhead section saying here then?
Yeah. So this is a summary of the host type that you've selected and what's the specification of the host, and then with the oversubscription inputs, or the inputs that have been made on the consolidation ratio that we've calculated the number of hosts. So here what the resource summary tab shows us is how much of the cores and the resources basically are available and how much have we sold.
Okay.
So
Now,
the total oversubscription there is about 71, 46, and 17 for compute memory and storage. But then these will change when we change the oversubscription.
yeah. Now, at the moment, it looks like I'm actually well within my 100%, which is my kind of baseline. Now, if I was to buy this estate and I was looking to onboard more tenants in the future, this would probably be a nice kind of number to be at. But just for the case of this example, I want to push the boundaries here. So I'm going to go back up to my estate estimations. And oh no, sorry. I want to go to the VMC on AWS. I want to now change the number of hosts manually.
Yeah.
I want to try to go to 10 hosts and see what happens. This is probably going to get ugly. There you go. It's got ugly.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad. I'm 108%.
108%.
So I'm really, 100 is normal. You're using everything as it should be. 8%, I mean, really, vSphere can deal with that quite comfortably. So if I was looking at this estate for just this kind of environment and I wasn't going to extend it and this was it, actually, I've just cut 5 hosts out of my budget and I'm still able to deliver the service. That's what this is saying to me.
Yes.
Okay. So I now go to the summary?
Yes, and before that, the table next to the resource summary. So that is where, so that is where we show where the management overhead and the additional overhead has a toll on the available resources. So the total compute resource is about 960, but with the management and additional overheads, we have only 907 available.
And that's what's reflected here. Yeah, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
And we've oversubscribed it by 108%, and that's why we are having about 977 allocated. But then we've sold about 1,700 of those.
Yeah. Allocated and available. Okay, I think you get that. So this is actually 108% of the available.
No, the allocated is 108% of the available.
The allocated is 108% of the available.
Yeah, 100% is 1:1. 8%, it's just 8%.
Okay, so I'm getting confused with the sold. Okay, got it. So I next go to summary.
Yeah.
And I get to see some nice graphs here. Okay, so what am I looking at here?
So first is the business case overview. So the financial breakup that shows what's the price of each item. That's VMC on AWS. We have the CDS price over term, and then we have the OPEX over term. So the first 3 are the cost items, where we total it, and it's about 2 million. And then we have the total revenue based on our service inputs. And we also see the break-even month where the business is breaking even right from the go word go, and then we have a 26% ROI with 20% margin over term. So that is the business case overview, which the graph shows.
Okay. And I can see here different, I can highlight in on different monthly things and
Yeah, and also you can just select what you can,
yeah,
what you would like to. If you just want to see monthly cost, you can just cancel out the monthly revenue and the gross profit.
I see. Yeah.
And then if you would want to see, yes, you can have any
Bit of fun,
combinations of those.
fun clicking on that. Yeah, I like that. And then we got the revenue details. Okay.
Yes. So the revenue share here is we have 3 tiers: gold, silver, and bronze, and we have 3 VM sizes in each of the tiers. So this table shows us what's the revenue coming in from which tier and what VM size.
Okay, got it. Got it. And you've got a graph here to show the revenue share. So the price over time for VMC on AWS, total
The total
cost,
cost,
gross revenue, profit,
profit.
etc. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And then there's a table down here for
yeah.
all of the monthly stuff.
This is, yes, this is for each month. So we have selected 36 months. So we have the in detailed breakdown of all the numbers which we showed in the executive summary above. So we have a month-on-month onboarding of all the hosts and tenants.
Yeah, I can see the total hosts increasing here. Yeah,
And then we see the cost as well as the uh, revenue increasing with respect to the onboarding rate.
excellent, excellent. Okay, and I believe this is going to be available to download as well at a later date in a CSV file. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We currently have the executive summary there, so that if you click on it, that downloads a PDF version of the executive summary
Hmm.
with the timestamp, just to uh, not get the users confused reports if they have multiple downloads.
Okay, let me just share that window so we can have a look at that. Here we go. So this is do you see it?
Yeah,
Okay, so this is a PDF kind of take home, just the high level metrics that you've seen on this final page.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, that's great. So let's then just run, just because we've got a few minutes left. Let's go back and let's leave the estate alone, but let's do more. Let's have more fun in the service estimations. So let's change this now to a resource unit. So
And then suddenly the resource of subscription there, and we have the, if you can change it to per VM, so the sell price,
sorry, change.
yes, so the required margin on the VM cell, so that's the related input which comes on selection. So if we go to resource, planned offer type as resource units,
Hang on, where am I going?
planned
Oh,
offering
oh,
type,
planned offer. Yeah, okay. Yeah, resource units.
resource
Okay.
units.
Hmm.
And then we have, if you can expand, yeah. And then we have a sell price per vCPU, sell
I see.
price per VGB RAM,
Yeah.
and the storage comes up.
Okay, so you can get quite granular here in your unit pricing.
Yeah,
Um, so let's go. Let's start doing this. So gold, we're going to go with 10% the estate. Um, I'll sort that out in a minute. The compute on
yes,
gold, we're not going to oversubscribe. We're going to sell it at a premium. Storage will keep the same. And we'll leave these distributions as they are. 50%, 2 vCPU, 8 gig. 30%, 4 vCPU, 16 gig. 20%, 8 CPU, 32 gig. All right, that seems fair. Okay, so that's
yeah,
10%. Then on an allocation pool for silver, we're going to see, let's say 40%. And the compute ratio here, that should be fine. Sale price, oh, this has worked out a nice long sale price for me. Okay, and then we'll leave these as they were. Let's quickly check them. 52.6, 34.16, 28.
832.
That seems good. And then the pay as you go, we're going to make to 50%.
50.
And here we're gonna oversubscribe the hell out pay as you go. We're also going to oversubscribe the memory quite high. We're going to make the units much cheaper. And we'll, yeah, okay, so small, let's say 40%, 2, and let's give them 6, medium, 30, 4, 16,
30.
yeah, 8, 32, that seems about right, okay. I love the way this is working out your sell price for you based on your margin parameters, and in this case, based on the sell price per unit.
Resource units, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's really handy. Okay, so that's cool. And then let's look at the SDC overhead. So I'm 117% oversubscribed as a whole.
Yeah.
I'm still on my 10 hosts though, so that's not bad. So let's have a look at the impact financially. So my overall profit is 105. My profit is much lower in this model.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising. I've changed the tiers around. I've changed a lot of things there.
Yes. So the gold, where the subscription is less, so we're offering the resources without any oversubscription. So that's
Yeah,
where that's the 1:1 mapping. So, but if we see from a financial perspective that as you can see in the revenue details, the silver and the bronze are the ones which are making us which are driving the revenue because of the oversubscription.
yeah. And reality is I would be changing the price on the gold quite significantly more than that, perhaps to have no oversubscription at all. But then I would be selling less of it. So it's a careful balancing game. But the nice thing
Yeah.
about this calculator is you can play around with the different scenarios, find out kind of what suits your service offering and what you can go to market with, what's viable, but also it enables you to look at pricing, right? And you can then judge by looking around other service providers in your region, hyperscalers, what price they're offering, and seeing if you're competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And also you can position your pricing based on this. It can also act as a pricing calculator where you can mix and match the combinations that you would want to offer with gold, silver, and bronze, or small, medium, and large. And you can play around with it, and you can actually deduce what's the price that you would like to offer with this. And all this guy is without any of the differentiator services that are layered on the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
this
sorry, go on.
yeah. So this is just the profit of just selling the infrastructure. Any of the differentiator services is just is profit on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you've got an increase in OpEx to run them, but you know, it's not the major hardware cost, which is the big stumbling block here. And I think this is very interesting because you can, you know, do entire estates, or you could just do single tenants, or you know, the modularity of what you've got here is fantastic. And the fact that I can actually then, I mean, look at that. So that was 4%, right? So if I increase my rental and I go to 24% discount, that's not much, but let me just put this 5R and go to 20% discount. What does that do to my 4%? Well, it makes it 7%.
Yeah.
Not exactly getting me excited, but you can also say, well, okay, so let's really change things. Let's go for a commit, a level 3, and let's go for Cloud Director Service for a commit of minimum commit 120,000. Well, still at 7% because those numbers were the same. But you can then play around with your commits, right?
Yeah, you can play around with the commits as well as the host type. I3N is I3 and I3N.
Yeah, good call. Let's have a quick look at that, because that's these are slightly cheaper, right? But then I'm going to have more impact on my service estimations in terms of oversubscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, 158. Yeah, still very operational. I think those are well within guidelines. Let's have a look. 53%. Well, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apart from the the fantastic calculations that we've just plugged in off the top of our heads, the calculator's pretty bulletproof. That said, it could never be perfect, right?
Yeah. And also there will be updates on these. And just a small note there is that these are before tax, and these are not exactly the currency values. So that depends on the forex numbers and the tax implications and stuff. So this is just a ballpark.
It's the basis of a business case, which is what we always kind of wanted it to be, right? Which is give me an indicative value, something my sales guys could use, something my product managers could use to understand what is the offering, how I could construct the offering, how I could price it, and what sort of revenue and return am I looking for it. I think there's a lot of additional considerations to take, like you say, market price for VMs, local currency exchanges, local tax rates, etc., etc.
And also this provides flexibility to the audience, which they can that can access the calculator. So from an executive standpoint, you can just keep some of the defaults are given based on market values. So you can keep this and get a summary just to start, just as a conversation starter. And then once you can drill down, sit with the technical guys, and then really drill down to those numbers and oversubscription, so you can have you can actually come down to reality cost-wise.
Yeah, excellent. Love it. Brilliant. Crash down to reality. Amif, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you want to add on the calculator, or is that pretty much covered?
Yes, Kai, you've covered it comprehensively.
Okay, great. Well, listen, thank you so much for all your effort in getting this calculator up and running. If there is feedback about the calculator, it's VMware _GTM at VMware.com.
VCPP _GTM at VMware.com.
VCPP. Thank you. VCPP _GTM at VMware.com. Appreciate your time today walking us through this, and I look forward to seeing where it goes and how it's used and the feedback we get.
Yes, likewise, Kai. Thank you so much for having me on the show as well.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Amif. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.